Hi, Omoigbo here. Welcome back to my channel. I post videos about being a non-believer, deconverting from Christianity, and what it's like being a non-believer in Black and Nigerian communities. Subscribe to my channel to keep in touch and hit the like button to show some love. It doesn't hurt to turn on the notifications either. Okay, thanks. This video is about the different flavors of non-belief. During my second year of college, I stopped believing in God, and I didn't know anyone who was an atheist or agnostic. In my Nigerian community, the term atheist might as well be synonymous with devil worshiper. A person without God is a terrible, wretched individual. I don't even think I knew what agnostic meant back then. It would have been very helpful for me back then to have a much broader range of labels to pick from, which is why I decided to create this video. In case any baby non-believers are watching, here are some labels to play around with. Obviously, you already know what atheist means. That's the most popular label for non-believers. This is a person that does not believe that God exists. It is the opposite of theist, which is a person who does believe that God exists. Here are a couple fun facts for you. According to a poll by the University of Minnesota, atheists are the most distrusted minority in America. They're also the group that parents are least willing to let their children marry. What you might not know is that there are soft atheists and hard atheists. A soft atheist is someone who does not believe that there is any proof that God exists. A hard atheist is someone who believes that there is proof that God does not exist. Soft atheists are more likely to accept and be okay with religion as an institution, whereas hard atheists believe that religion is not good for society. Then you've got the agnostics. Those indecisive bastards. This is the second most popular label for non-believers. An agnostic person isn't really sure about what's out there. They are true doubters. In general, they believe that there is no evidence that proves or disproves a God's existence. What I have learned about agnostics is that the role of spirituality in their life varies, as well as their openness to organized religion. A lesser known label is freethinker. The term has been around since about the 17th century. As the name itself suggests, these people want to come to their own conclusion about the existence of God and about religion in general. Instead of looking to dogma or already established religions for answers, they instead choose to rely on their own logic and reasoning to make decisions. Basically, freethinkers are similar to atheists because they also reject religious norms. However, they are different because they are open to the idea of a higher power as long as they come to that conclusion through their own reasoning. For them, it's more about the journey, not so much the destination. Free thinking is a way of life. Fun fact, the pansy is the symbol for free thought. Then you have the rationalists, another lesser known term. These people trust logic and reason, pure and simple. For them, logic and reason are the only ways to gain true knowledge. And are they really that much different from atheists? Not really. So I think the main difference between the two is that the term rationalist is more positive because it tells what a person does believe in, that is reason, whereas atheist tells what they don't believe in, that is a higher power. So some people prefer rationalist because it just tells more about what they believe. Also, I don't think rationalists have hardcore beef with God and religion. They just prefer to stick to their methodology for determining truth. Next are humanists. This label is actually pretty popular. Humanism is all about valuing people here and now instead of valuing tradition or doctrine. Humanists embrace the ethical and community aspects of religion, but they don't so much embrace the actual doctrine side of it. They feel that we humans are more than capable of leading ethical lives and striving for the greater good of humanity. It views humans as solely responsible for the promotion and development of individuals, freedom, progress, all that. And in general, they display a great concern for the mankind. They do a lot of community service, basically. This group is interesting because it's not exclusively for non-believers. There are many religious people who call themselves humanists, just people who care about other human beings. So what I found is that the non-religious ones will call themselves secular humanists as a way to distinguish themselves from the religious ones. I'm sure you've heard of the term secularism, and in general, it's the idea that moral standards and laws should be based on whether or not they do good or harm in this world, and religion and government should be kept completely separate. I actually did use the label humanist for myself for a little bit, but then I stopped because I stopped going to the meetings and it was a group of older folks who mainly wanted to do soup kitchens. Now we've got objectivists. I had actually never heard of this term until I read the book by David Seidman, So What If I'm an Atheist, that I talked about last video. Objectivism as a philosophy was created by the Russian-American author Ayn Rand. It's all about man's happiness being the correct moral purpose of his life. Man or woman as their own God. It says that we have a moral responsibility to respect individual rights. Just like rationalists, objectivists believe that we should be using logic and reasoning as a means to attaining knowledge. And unlike the humanists, they put themselves first rather than putting humanity first. It sounds a little selfish, but who am I to judge? Also, it's very popular with libertarians and conservatives. Then you've got the materialists and the naturalists. Materialists believe that the only reality that exists is the world of physical matter. None of this supernatural stuff for them. This is not too different from what atheists believe. Again, this term tells what the person does believe in rather than what they don't believe in. Materialists do not believe in a spiritual world, but rather they believe that all mental states and consciousness come from material interactions. Naturalists are very similar in that they focus on and believe in the natural laws that science can explain. They believe the universe is bound by these natural laws. Beyond those natural laws, and they're not trying to hear it. Some people use the terms materialists and naturalists interchangeably. I'm not in a place right now in my life where I could really give you a detailed difference between the two. Pantheism is one that I found while doing research for this video, and I actually really like it. They see human beings as one small part of a vast natural order. They reject the idea of a person God, but they embrace the idea that the holy is made manifest in all that exists. The experience of humility, wonder, and transcendence. Pantheism focuses on the spiritual heart of faith, and they also have a strong commitment to protecting the web of life from which all our existence came from. I found that pantheists are very big fans of Carl Sagan and often quote him. I like this label because it does leave some room for spirituality, and not so much spirituality in terms of a spiritual world, but more the idea that life is connected. Something about that resonates with me. A relatively new label in social movement is called Brights. The term Brights was coined by a man named Paul Gizert. He had an issue with the term godless, as many people might. The term godless is not a very cheery, uplifting term, so he made up a new and more positive one. He and his wife started a whole organization for the Brights, which is really just all non-believers out there. It's the community of reason, as some people like to call it. They believe in reason and logic and facts and science, and they believe that public policies should be based on science. This is more of an umbrella term, and it's not as specific as the other ones. It's really meant to unite all the skeptical folks out there under a new, more positive term. Some people want a term that more clearly conveys their opposition to the whole idea of religion, and these folks go by anti-theists. They are saying that I think religion is harmful. The term anti-theist implies some type of activism that goes beyond just advocating for the separation of church and state and for more science education. They actively challenge the legitimacy of religion acting as a moral authority in our society, or in most societies. And they also work to expose all the harm that is done in the name of God. Things like religious stonings, child maltreatment, and genital mutilation. So those are the ones that I wanted to share with you today. And if you feel like none of those fit for you and what your beliefs are, then just keep looking or make up your own. There are many that I didn't talk about in this video. I truly believe that there is an increasing number of atheists, agnostics, and non-believers in general, but there isn't really a stable community yet. So a lot of these labels are largely individual and still very experimental. I'm sure there's folks out there like me who maybe try one on, if it doesn't fit, take it off and try on something else. So tell me, what label do you like to use, and has the label that you use changed over time? If it has, well, what made it change? I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to check out my first few videos where I talk about my deconversion story and what I believe in right now. As usual, like and subscribe and leave a comment, and I will see you later. Okay, bye!